Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. It's the best sports hour talk show on radio. It's a sports hour with Ingle, Monali, and Roger on Love Bay Afrobeat Music and Talk Radio. And today, of course, there's so much going on in the world. You got the Winter Olympics and all that's happening around that. You got T20 cricket, you got women's cricket, you got other things happening in track and field and all of that. But I think we're going to start with the Olympics this morning, Manali. And
Let's do it. Let's do
Canada
Olympic.
and the USA in hockey. It's a talk of everyone here in Canada. You know, the women played, they went to overtime, and the US found a way to come from one goal down to defeat Canada 2-1. I'm sure Trump must be smiling and Carney must not be too happy, but I know. Did you take a chance to take a look at the game at all, or even think about what that defeat means for Canada women's hockey?
No, you know what? I haven't been able to watch much of the Olympics at all. The schedule here is a bit difficult, plus with the time difference, just
Yeah,
haven't. But I have been following it, and I was so hopeful that our women's hockey team would be able to pull this one off, and they didn't, just like last time. So I mean, silver is something, but
yeah, it's
it's
not the
not
thing you
gold.
want, but it was.
It's not gold, and I mean, decent effort, just given the way that our women's hockey team has been playing lately. I can't say that it's a total surprise.
Agreed,
Um,
agreed.
I think with the amount of professionalizing that's been happening with women's hockey, especially in the US, we don't have enough women's teams here in Canada, part of that setup yet.
Yeah,
Our players who do play in it get some exposure, but not nearly to the level that we should be. Also, it doesn't help that our universities don't really have
I leave.
too many opportunities for these girls to be able to continue playing it as a varsity sport, and from there on.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. And yeah, it's not a total surprise. I mean, in the first round they met and USA beat them 5-0. So it was a
Yeah.
spirited performance in the finals, and I'm sure as a Canadian you're going to be a little crushed, but it was a good game. They fought and they fought well, and they were leading shorthandedly, as a matter of fact. So it was we were
Yes.
hopeful, but didn't happen this time. But I think tomorrow is what the whole country is waiting on, right? It's the men in the hockey finals tomorrow. And I don't know if you're passionate about it as most Canadians are, but the bars are going to be full. Everyone's going to be out to see that game. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's a huge game in terms of
It's a
Canada
huge
US.
game, but you know what? Even the women's game, like you look at history and you see that we've dominated hockey, men's and women's.
Men's. Yeah.
And so it's a big clash for both. Of course, tomorrow's the men's, the women's couldn't quite get the gold. We
Yeah.
can't lose tomorrow.
I,
What time is it on at Canada time?
I think it's, I have to double check. I think it was 1 o'clock, but I will double check
Okay.
just to make sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a huge game. The whole country, I think, it's going to be on edge to see that game.
Because it's more than just a hockey game.
Yeah. You're
It's
absolutely
the
right.
US versus Canada.
I
This
know.
is this is a bit of Donald Trump versus Canada.
Exactly. I think this is actually 8 o'clock tomorrow. So it's gonna be a
Eight
bit
o'clock.
early. Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, I not a huge hockey fan, but usually I tend to peek in on a game like that if I can. Even if to watch some of it, but it's gonna be so tense, and they played the last time in this Four Nations Cup, and Canada found a way
Yeah.
to beat them. So I'm
Yeah.
hopeful. I'm hopeful that they can do so again tomorrow. But other than that, at the Olympics, the other thing I want to mention, and it's not that I follow the sport or know the sport, but do you watch curling?
Only at the Olympics.
I don't even watch it
Or
at
only
all.
during the Olympics.
I don't know much about curling at all, but there's this huge fight going on with Canada that they're cheating, and Canada teams, they started getting mad and swearing, and It's like, what is happening here? I thought this sport was a quiet sport and nothing happened. I don't know. They push a rock down the ice and that's it. What are they fighting for? It was funny to me.
So, I'm actually a little happy to see some of this in curling
Oh, really?
because, like you said, it's assumed to be this quiet
It
game,
is.
this friendly sort of game, still competitive, but
Yeah.
what we've seen, I think it was Sweden, Canada, when
Yeah.
the swear words were thrown out and all the
Yeah.
drama came out. And I personally, I know it's directed at Canada, but I personally, from the sport, I am happy to see this sort of passion coming out of the players. I mean, it makes it that much more exciting. It makes it, that much more, sorry to say, but marketable.
True. True.
And that's important.
Agreed.
Um, I don't really know enough about curling, if I'm being honest, to know whether Canada was cheating. But hey, we're Canadians. We don't cheat. Come
We
on.
don't cheat. There you go.
We
And we
don't
don't
cheat.
swear. We don't swear either. But from what I heard, I mean, because as I said, I don't follow it very closely, but I heard that yes, some things were happening that should not be happening, but it's not
Mhm.
unusual to Canada. That's out of my understanding, and it's just coming out in the open now. So I don't know. I don't know the sport to say what it was. Something about some double touching thing. I don't know much about it. But at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. It generated so much interest in the sport. It made headlines for so many days. It's like, what is curling? What is going on here? So
And
it's
you know what?
exciting
I
times
think
ahead.
certain sports need this once in a while. You need a bit of controversy to
You
get
do.
people into it.
Agreed.
Not too much controversy, but I think this is the right amount of controversy.
I think so too. You're absolutely right. It's not going off the rails or anything like that, but it was very interesting to me to, to see that because I'm like, really? Curling? I don't know. I don't know. All right. So the medal tables. So I know so far Canada has 17 medals and it
Hmm.
ends on Sunday and they have 4 golds so far. And in 2022, the last Olympics, they had 26 medals, but 4 golds again. So I don't know. I don't think you're a betting lady, but you think we're going to surpass our medal total this time, or any hope that we got? Well, I'm hoping to get one more gold in the hockey, so we'll have 5. But
How many more events do we have
I,
left?
I'm not. There's quite a few left, but I'm not sure how our
So I
chances
I
are.
feel like we've missed out on some of the big ones that we normally get. Curling is one of them.
Yeah.
Women's hockey was another one. Um, we've picked up some of our speed skating medals, which is
Yes,
good.
we did. And
Um,
skiing
but
as well.
overall, if I was to look at the number of medals that we have compared to other nations who are also cold and have mountains, I would say I am disappointed. I know there's some events yet to come, but I
Yeah.
just feel like we should have already been um, better. We should have
Agreed.
picked up more medals than we have.
Agreed. And I think, like being 10th on the table is something a little unusual. Norway, though, is leading everybody, which to me is a little bit of a surprise, but they're doing pretty well. But at the end of the day, I think, for a winter country, Canada should be doing better
Yeah,
in winter sports. That's sort of how I see it,
yeah,
just like you.
agreed.
So I think, though, they're trying. I think they've been competitive and they've had some mishaps and some injuries, but I can't say I'm extremely disappointed, but I'm a bit disappointed that we're not doing better. But I will say we're not doing too badly. We're still there or thereabouts. We just should be doing a little better than we are right now. But who knows? Let's see if they find a spurt in the last day and come up with something big.
I hope so. You want to try and finish on a high, but I do want your opinion on this. So I know you're a massive track and field guy,
Yes.
and that goes with the Summer Olympics. Now, there are
Yep.
a lot of memes out there that are saying Summer Olympics is great, but Winter Olympics is life and death. You've got sharp blades flying, you're
Yeah.
flying off of mountains. It is really extreme compared to the Summer Olympics. What's your opinion on that?
It is true. I think the Winter Olympics is more closer to extreme sports than the Summer Olympics for sure. The Summer Olympics is more traditional, in my opinion. So it's a little more docile. It's not too crazy. The Winter Olympics it's evolving so quickly, and some of the things I see them doing is like, is that for real? What are they doing out there? Are they going
Mm,
to kill themselves? But it is more extreme. And actually, if you really look into it, it can be even more exciting if you see the things that they're doing. So I could probably say it's a
yeah.
little more exciting to watch the winter sports. If you're not into those sports, it's a little difficult, but it's easy to get into because it's so extreme, right? So it
Yeah.
can be considered more attractive.
I mean, just looking at the US ski downhill ski athlete, what's her name? Lindsey Vonn.
Lindsey Vonn broke.
So she,
Yeah,
practice run, tore her ACL right through, and then she said, "I'm still going to compete," and she did, and she crashed, and I think she's had about 6 surgeries on her femur already.
already. Yeah, she's like
Already.
41. She's not even like a young kid or anything. So it must be difficult
No.
recovering and all of that. But she's superwoman, as she says. I'm truly a bionic woman now because she has splints all over her. It's all she's
She
actually
does.
being made over, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm just, you think about 6 surgeries
Yes, that's a
in a
lot.
matter of what, 2 weeks? That
Yeah,
is madness.
it is. And she's still perky and up and ready to go again. If you ask me, if she could. So she's a super athlete, very very
There is
talented, tons of medals, but
there
she's very tough.
there was another accident that happened. I was just reading the news. Again, short track speed skating.
Yeah,
Um, there was a crash, and one of the skaters got cut in the eye
yeah,
by a skate. And I saw the video, and I mean, I just once. I could only watch it once. I did not want to watch it again because it was so
yeah.
horrible, horrific.
It is. It is. And you're better than me because I didn't watch it once. Like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. No, it's as
Watch
you
it at
said,
least
it's a
once.
show. I didn't watch it once. No, the truth is, you're absolutely right. It's very dangerous out there. Those blades
Yeah,
are very sharp, as you know. So you got to
yeah.
be careful. And any little
So
accident.
for the longest time, I wanted my kids to take up speed skating.
Yeah,
Longest time. And then I watched this video today, and now I'm
that's it.
like,
That's
you
it.
know what? I don't know anymore. Maybe not short track. Maybe stick to the longer track because there isn't as much running into each other
Running.
and
Yeah,
falling and whatnot. Mind you, I have seen some pretty bad injuries even in regular speed skating.
yeah, yeah.
This is
You got to be
Salt
aggressive,
Lake
right?
City. Yeah, Salt Lake City. Actually, that was I don't know how many years ago now. I know I was in
That's
grade 8.
2002, I think, right?
Um, yeah, a while ago, and it was a female race, and one of the skaters fell, and she slid and she smashed into the side billboard. I mean, she's just so bruised up on one side because they're
Yeah.
flying on that ice. They are
They're going very
absolutely
fast,
flying.
very
Very.
fast. Trust me.
Yeah.
And you got to be aggressive. So yeah, it's. I like watching it, but you're right. It can be very dangerous if anything happens.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Maybe we should
All
stick to curling.
right. Yeah, and the swearing. All right.
I'm a pro at that. I've already got one part of it down.
You just got to actually learn how to curl now, and then you'll be there. All right. Let's get to our favorite topic. The T20 World Cup cricket is going on over there in the Atlantic.
T20 World Cup.
And I tell you, man, what's your biggest surprise so far, though?
I can't say it's a surprise. Australia was always weak,
Oh, you
so I
told us
can't really say
before.
it's a surprise per se, but it is a bit disappointing to have such an incredible run for so many years
Yeah,
in so many formats,
yeah,
and then to have completely lost their way. I mean, it's not to say that they've lost their way as a whole, but they're
yeah.
certainly struggling to keep up these days. And
Well, some people are saying it's because it's a T20 and Australia doesn't value T20 as much as other countries. Do you think that's a fair statement?
so funny enough, there was an interview done with,
Zampa?
sorry, what's that?
Adam Zampa?
No, there's an interview done with McDonald, their coach,
The coach.
and
Okay.
he said that that is completely false. It's not that we don't focus on T20 cricket like we do on the other formats. I think for me, it's more their selection just hasn't been right.
Agreed.
You've got players who are out of form. You've got uh, a team that doesn't really seem to have chemistry.
Yep.
You have flown the likes of Steve Smith all the way to the World Cup, and then you didn't play him,
I know.
especially in a very important game.
Game.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
there are so many things that just haven't made sense for that side.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a bit humbling too for a country, isn't it? Sometimes you kind of need to go through some of these downs to then figure out, okay, well, where are we falling behind? What do we
Yeah.
need to change to get back to the top?
I agree with that. I agree with that. A good wake up call for them because I think they have been floating at the top for so long that now they got to figure out what it is like to work hard to get back to the top. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's more the preparation, the team selection. I think was their biggest issue. And
Yeah. I would say the team selection just wasn't right. Too many players out of form. I
out
mean,
of form. Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't not and I wish they would have used that series against Pakistan as a bit of an eye opener.
yeah, yeah. And they didn't.
That was a perfect time to realize that they were underprepared.
Yeah, and they didn't use it at all. As far as I'm concerned, it's
No.
like they were saying, we'll figure it out when the time comes. And I
Yeah.
sort of felt that
Yeah.
they would have, but they didn't. So
I think I feel like they underestimated this World Cup and the competition in this World Cup.
yeah,
With the T20 game, you just never know.
true.
Things can change very quickly, and countries you don't expect to be at the top do end up surprising you. We've seen some close games with the associates playing full members. We've seen some interesting games between even the full members playing each other. The way, for me, the other surprise is how well Sri Lanka's done so far.
Sri Lanka or Zimbabwe?
Sorry, what's that?
Is it Sri Lanka or is it Zimbabwe?
Well, Zimbabwe was always going to be a bit of a surprise, right? They are
Because didn't
an
they beat Sri
underdog.
Lanka too? Did Zimbabwe beat Sri Lanka?
Sorry, I'm going to put my volume up. Yeah, okay, there you go.
No, I said, did
Yeah, they
Zimbabwe beat
did.
Sri Lanka?
Zimbabwe beat Sri Lanka, but leading up to that game, I feel like Sri Lanka, we didn't quite see them as one of the top sides, and they've played
Okay.
some brilliant cricket so far. Zimbabwe has surprised everyone. Just
Yeah,
ask Australia how they've surprised them.
I know, I know, I know. They're my biggest surprise to tell the truth because not, winning games is one, but it's a matter of how they're doing it. They seem very
Yeah.
confident that they belong and they mean to do something, some big business here, and I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed with them.
I just hope they can keep going. So they take on West Indies next. Your favorite
And so I'm
team.
not so hopeful that they keep going because I want the West Indies to beat them. So, uh, but yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
It's going to be a very good game. I just hope that I hope the more African teams that we have left in this World Cup, the better. No
Yeah.
offense to the West Indies. No offense.
No, no,
I
no, I'm taken. But
what
yeah, I
in
think
your opinion, who has surprised you the most?
Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of the winning that they're doing, but it's how they're going about it. It's like they're all round team. It's like they're doing everything. They seem to be well prepared and ready to do something. And I mean, it's like, okay, I mean, where is this confidence coming from? Because they haven't had a great run in coming into the competition. So, but they're looking good. And so for me, that's the biggest surprise I've seen.
They're looking good. They've also brought in Courtney Walsh as the bowling consultant. The bowling's been decent.
Yeah.
They seem to have focused on preparations leading into this. And then, of course, we talk
Yeah.
about momentum, and they've got positive momentum going towards them at the moment. So they just need to continue with that mindset and continue using that momentum in their advantage or to their advantage. For me, when I'm looking at some of the games that have passed, India hasn't actually impressed that much with the bat, if I'm being honest.
Oh, the big batsman has made 3 ducks. So
That and that is a lot of pressure on a player to have scored 3 ducks. But even when you look at overall how their runs are coming, they're struggling against some of these bowling. They struggled heavily against Namibia's bowling unit.
I was surprised
Even this
at that
last,
too. Yeah, I was like,
even this
whoa,
last
what's happening
game.
here? That was a game that started like, wow, the associate countries are stepping it up.
Yeah, yeah. So I think they'll have to be watchful in that department. They take on who does India take on? They take on South Africa next.
But
Oh my gosh.
that's a big
Come on,
game.
South Africa. That's a
Uh,
massive game.
that's a big
It's
game.
a
And
massive game.
South Africa's looking great also, right? They're looking better than India right now.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of chirping going on about how the ICC has put the matchups for the Super Eights.
I'm chirping too. I'm chirping. I think it's
I,
wrong.
it's hard, isn't it? I mean, between an India and a South Africa, like you lose one of the top teams in the World Cup.
Right away. And the West Indies is in that group too, right? So you have Zimbabwe, West Indies, South Africa, and India. They all won
Yep,
their zones. The 4
yep.
zone winners are in one. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any
It
sense.
is. It's going to be tough. I just looking to see if what's happening with this Pakistan New Zealand game as well.
It was raining.
Still raining.
Yeah,
Yeah, still
yeah.
raining.
But that's the easier group in my opinion. You have Pakistan, New Zealand, England. It's like, okay. Whoever, I don't know. Anyway, semifinals is next. So, but I didn't like the group pairings at all. I think it was ICC should not have done the rating system that they used to rank them before they got to this round.
So who do you think? Okay, let's say Pakistan New Zealand plays today.
Yeah.
Who are you going with?
Actually, I think Pakistan is always finding a way to win, but New Zealand is playing better than them right now. There's a lot of talk about Pakistan and Babar Azam and should he be opening or should he be in the middle, and he's not contributing in the power play, but I think he's a great batsman still. So if they come good, they can beat anybody. That much I'll say.
But you see, this is my issue with it. You've got good players,
Yeah.
great players, if you want to call them. However, if they're out of form, do they belong in the side?
And
And
you
it's
look at
not like
India.
he's
Look at India's
well,
approach. I
India,
mean, their number one batsman made 3 ducks, and they're not worried about it because
but
they know
but he
his
was
quality.
he, but he was in form leading into this World Cup.
Yeah,
Whereas Babar Azam has been out of form for quite some time now.
yeah,
So
yeah,
my question is, I know where people are going to say, well, he's one of the greats, he has to be in there. But my question is, why? If he's out of form and he's been out of form for a while, why
yeah,
does he need to be in there? This is where I feel like when the likes of BCCI said, you know what, we're going to drop Shubman Gill because he is out of form.
yeah.
I think that is an incredible statement right there.
But they had good replacements. I'm not sure if Pakistan has that luxury, though.
Well, I think when you're getting nothing from him, anyone will
If
be
he
better
make
than
them
that.
good because of who he is, if they lose without him, you're gonna hear he should have been there. I don't know. It's a tough call.
There have been some really interesting interviews and pre-game shows and whatnot. Shahid Afridi recently said, well, look at who the batting coach is. He's never played Test cricket. Who's going to take this guy seriously? And I'm thinking, well, excuse me. You're also being coached by Mike Hessen. Like where are you going with this argument? Because good coaches are good coaches, regardless of whether they've played Test cricket or not.
Agreed.
It's
Agreed.
I
That's a
Pakistan
mindset.
has to iron out some issues. They really do.
Yeah,
They've got some, I would say New Zealand should be able to take it. That batting lineup is so strong at the moment for
yeah,
them.
yeah. There, there.
Strong openers.
No, they're in good shape. I think New Zealand is the better team coming into the game, but I think Pakistan always finds a way to surprise, and they just might. I mean, now they're going to rain out, and with the with the rules, I guess they're going to share the points, which is not so fun for me because there's no time to play the game at another time. So unfortunate. But yeah, if the game was to be played, I think New Zealand had a better shot. But I would not be surprised if Pakistan found a way to win. 'Cause they normally do. They normally do.
Uh, yeah, I think they're really out of form to be able to pull this one off. But then don't quote me.
Yeah, I think they show up when they need to more often than not. But you're right. And I love Babar Azam, so I'm going to be in his corner almost all the time. So I think I want him on the team, and I think he needs to get a chance to play higher up in the order, because that's where his skills are best, in my opinion. He hasn't shown the form, to tell the truth, but
Yeah,
I'd rather have him there than somebody that I don't know. So we will see. So what do you think about
yeah.
Canada, though?
Ugh, I'm gonna
Ah,
try and be as positive as I can when I
yeah,
say this, but it's gonna be very difficult. So first of all, I have to say congratulations to Yuvraj Samra.
there
Scoring
you
a
go.
century against the likes of New Zealand is not an easy task. Scoring a
And he's only
century when you're that
19.
young.
There
That's
you
right. When
go.
you're that young, very, very impressive. However,
No,
one person doesn't make a team. No,
no, but that
I
is
take
full
I
promise.
take no credit away from him. I think it was a phenomenal innings, phenomenal knock, and it's something that he can cherish. It's something that I hope he doesn't dwell on because we
Agreed.
see that often as well. It's a
Agreed.
good step in the right direction for him. It's a great start to what is his World Cup career.
Yeah.
However, he's so young, he shouldn't be dwelling on that. He should be thinking, okay, where's my next big knock coming from? And
Yeah.
that I'm hoping is his mindset, especially because I know he said in an interview that this gives him hope to be able to play cricket as a job, as a career.
Yeah.
And I hope that he can do that, especially after that innings that he had go his way. Now, when we look at the team and we look at how Canada as a whole has played,
Yeah.
I'm going to be very I can't sugarcoat this because the reality is we disappointed and we disappointed massively. Our players, our batters specifically, did not play to the game and the situation. The couple of half centuries that we have seen, in my opinion, did not go at a pace required in the game to try and win that game. It's nice that you've reached your mark in the half century. Congratulations. However, how has this helped the team? Well, it hasn't, right? And for me, that intent has been missing the entire time that they were at the World Cup. They just didn't look like they actually wanted to give it a good run for their money. And when I look at all the associates in the World Cup, I would say we were probably one of the weaker links compared to the others. Our bowling struggled equally. We lacked consistency, we lacked pace, we lacked impact. Um, our bowling changes didn't quite make sense to me, if I can put it that way. We've got proper full-time spinners who were bowling after part-timers,
Yeah.
and I couldn't make sense of that. I don't understand why you wouldn't bowl your top spinners before your part-timers.
Agreed.
Um, and when you try and have a good game in a very difficult group, you've got to have everything go your way. And I've said this before. And unfortunately for Canada, not much went their way at all. Um, I mean,
Um,
if it wasn't for Yuvraj Samra's century, is there anything that we can say that Canada did well at this?
and you know what? I agree with most of what you're saying. I think, yeah, I think they're not as far along as they should be. They went to the last World Cup, and they should have
Mhm.
had better preparation in terms of the team. I think I saw a bunch of individuals out there, as you're saying. They don't, they didn't quite get the whole team concept as yet, and I'm not sure why it's taking them so long. But there's some talent there, so that's my thing. I think you have a core you can probably start building around in terms of you have some talent. How you're going to grow the team as a team is where all the hard work needs to happen. I'm not sure why
See,
it hasn't happened and how they chose their captain and some of the decisions that have been made. But that's part of the learning process as far as I'm concerned, because they should be able to look around now and say, okay, Namibia is doing that. All these countries are doing stuff. Scotland, all these countries that they should be able to beat at some point. They're doing better than them. So what are we doing wrong? We have some people here. We can now identify that, yeah, we have people here. Let's work on it. That's not how I see it, as more as a foundation, and a poor performance in most of the games, but a couple individuals, a couple of half centuries here or there, the big century. I think they have some opportunity to build a team from here.
So if I'm being honest, I would say I am tired of hearing the phrase, there's talent that we can work with. There's talent. Talent means nothing in the grand scheme of things if you don't have the proper pathway, if you don't have your selection sorted, if you don't have your combinations right. Talent means absolutely nothing. And for me, when I look at talent across the country, and I see that, for a good chunk of time, we got rid of our under 23 program. So that pathway wasn't making sense from the under 19s to the nationals. When I see that there's no continuity from the under 19s to the senior side, because for some reason we're just not able to offer our under 19s that opportunity. And then our seniors are being picked based on people who are coming into the country rather than focusing on that pathway and our grassroots leading into our senior side at some point. These are all questions that I have, and these are all questions that Cricket Canada should have as to what are we doing to try and fix that pathway. There's talent in the country, but talent means nothing until you've got the right people working with these players, until you know how to get the best out of this talent. Talent only gets you so far.
It gets you to start, though, and that's sort of my point, is that you have something to work with. And what you're saying, I totally agree with. Administratively and vision-wise, that's where, in my opinion, the problem is. I'm not sure if they should put you at a higher level in Cricket Canada so you can start helping them with the decisions as to where to go and how to go about things. But at the end of the day, I think if you didn't have anything to start with, it's much harder. And it's more encouraging to see a 19-year-old making a century here, people making 50s, people getting careers here or there. So I think when you can say, you know what, let's bring them together, but it needs leadership at the top. And that's where I think the vision is not there. The intent to succeed, in my opinion, I'm not sure if it is the right people. I always go back to track and field, and they said once, we're going to own the podium. And these are the things we need to do. These are the standards. This is the pathway. This is our vision. This is how you get into it. This is what you get from it. All those things has to be done. I haven't seen it with Cricket Canada, and maybe you're in a better position to say why we have not seen it in Cricket Canada. But they have talent to work with. So for me, they have a starting point. They're not starting from zero at all.
So I know exactly why we're not doing well. I do. I've been around in this setup for long enough to see the holes and to see where we're lacking.
Yeah.
And I can see where if we make the changes, we will make progress.
There's hope.
However, it's not in my hands. It is for the higher ups to see it that way. Now, I know this is going off topic from the World Cup, but the tournament that I'm covering is the Asia Cup Rising Stars. There's India A, Sri Lanka A, Bangladesh A, Pakistan A, Nepal, UAE, Thailand, and Malaysia. Now, you've got 8 countries here. The 4 associates are out. The 4 full members, played the semis, and the finals is now India A taking on Bangladesh A. But even between those 4 full members, there is a vast difference at which India plays their cricket compared to Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Yeah. And I was, I suppose, lucky enough to have a fairly lengthy conversation with the India A coach a couple of days ago after their semis. And so his name's Apurva Desai. He's worked in the BCCI setup for a long time. And my question to him was simple. India has changed the way they play their cricket. The men have changed, let's say the last 8 to 10 years, the women the last 2, 3 years. What have you guys changed in your system? And he said, we've changed a lot of things. And it starts from the way we train our coaches. So they have completely revamped their coaching pathway and their coaching courses. So he's also one of the master educators that runs these programs for the BCCI. And he said, we have had to revamp the way we coach the sport. And it's the only way we could see the results that we're seeing right now. Something else that they've also pushed is they, in their pathway, are trying to mandate that their national players, men and women, are playing more than just cricket. Because he said we saw a serious lack of agility and fitness.
Yeah.
And we wanted to fix that by bringing in multi-sport athletes. Fielding has been a completely different approach. You don't see any more long barriers, whether it's men or women. And he said we needed to do that. And we have a record, apparently, in the last under-19 tournament that they played, there were only 4 doubles that were taken off of them.
Wow.
And that's because the mindset now is we want to attack, attack, attack. So you can see when you start to change your coaching pathway and you start to bring the right coaches in, all of a sudden, the people that are working with your players through that pathway, you're starting young, you're going all the way to the top, but that mindset has shifted. The pathway's in place. And everyone from the bottom to the top is aligned in that vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you start to see results. Whereas in Canada, we don't have any of those steps aligned at the moment, unfortunately. And then we wonder when we're getting to the top and we're getting to a World Cup and we're getting to a qualifier, why are we struggling? Well, things have to align. You can't just show up and expect things to happen. It's why you're seeing the likes of Scotland being more competitive. It's why you're seeing the likes of even USA be more competitive, Namibia be more competitive, Netherlands. They've got these pathways in place. They're investing in them. They're investing the time, the money, the effort into them, which is, I know I'm going on and on about this, but for me, from a Canadian perspective, I know we can do it. We just have to be allowed to do it, though,
Well, you got to have the leadership and the sponsorship and the vision to do it. And I think all 3 are missing right now. And now let's go back to track and field. As you said, I spent a lot of time in track and field. And coming up through the 80s, 90s, Jamaica always had great individual athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Late 90s, the president at the time, Teddy McCook for the Jamaica Athletic Association, said, to become a force, we're going to have to start at home. Let's get all our coaches certified to the highest level. So that was a major thing, just like what you're talking about. And get a pathway for the kids coming up so we can have a system from age 6 all the way to becoming a senior and a professional. So they did that, and you saw the results, right? So it's exactly what, as I've seen it happen in track and field, I know that's what needs to happen, but the commitment from the leaders has to be there, which I think is what is missing today. But I believe that Canada can do it if we get the leadership, if we get the commitment, and we get the support, because winners get support far easier than, let's not call them losers, people that are not winning as much. So
losers are losers.
So it's a problem.
So on that note, we talk about, like you said, you will see results if you do the right thing in your pathway.
Yeah.
Australia has seen results for years because of that.
Absolutely.
Now the likes of India are catching up with that pathway.
Absolutely.
The US is a very strong side.
Yeah.
They do have a better pathway than we do. And when we're looking at the next round of qualifiers, because the US did not make the Super 8s, they will be in the qualifier. Only 2 teams from the Americas region will go to the World Cup. West Indies is going to be one of them.
Yep.
There's one spot left between the rest of us. We have not convincingly beat the US more than once in the last, I don't know how many years now.
100.
And that was at the North America Cup when we beat them in one of the earlier games in the tournament. We lost the final to them.
Yeah.
But we know that they are a lot further ahead than we are.
100%.
So where does that leave Canada? Like you said, winning makes things a lot easier because winning also brings in money,
Absolutely, which is required.
which is required. So now when we look at the next qualifier coming up and we know our chances are very, very low, if we don't qualify, not only do we miss out on an opportunity to go to the World Cup, but we miss out on a lot of funding.
Yep.
And then again, that pathway takes a hit because then you're saying, well, we don't have the money.
Right. There you go. There you go. It's going to require a commitment. It's not going to be easy, though. I will tell you that. Base history. So it's not going to be easy.
It makes me nervous, to be honest. It makes me nervous. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
And we're talking men's cricket, but even from a women's cricket perspective, I seeing UAE and Thailand play the way they did here. I'm not even talking about India. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the likes of those full members. I'm talking other associates like UAE and
Yeah.
Thailand. When I compare our Canadian women's team, I can see how far behind we are and how far behind we are falling.
Yeah, there you go. That's the problem that
That's
I'm
a
having.
scary thought.
We're not going forward, actually.
No, we're not. We are actively falling behind because those countries are actively moving forward.
Forward. Agreed. Canada. All right, let's move on a little. I had a question for you now. So I know you're not a huge fan of these games, and neither am I, but the 100 is coming up soon. And they said 67 players from Pakistan have registered for the auction for the 100 in England. But they're saying that the Pakistani players are not being considered by the 4 Indian-owned sides for the auction. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Should that be? Should that how it should be? Should something be changed here? Is something the ICC could put in place to make sure that this doesn't happen? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
So I don't know if the ICC is going to be able to do anything in this because it is a private league.
Yeah.
That being said, if you're looking at it from an ethics and a moral perspective, I disagree with what's happening.
Yeah.
However, how do you tell the team owners who have paid a lot of money to buy these teams
Yeah.
what to do and what not to do, right? I mean, if it comes down to an auction and you've got players that you've got other options to, you can always try and justify saying, well, this player is a better player, so we want them. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm not saying that Pakistan does not have good players. That's not at all what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, for the teams, they can find a million excuses or reasons to say why we put X, Y, and Z over A, B, and C.
Agreed.
Do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it. I think for the players, it's going to be a big blow because financially they're going to take a hit. And if we look at the way the shift in ownership is happening around the world with most franchise teams, mostly Indian owned, yeah. And we saw the effects of that even at the SA20.
Yep.
And now it's going to be the 100. So
and that's a big problem that I'm having is that the Indians control the money, so they control the teams, and then they're locking out people. What's going to happen? Is the sport's going to be who they decide should be playing? I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay, so this don't take me the wrong way. I'm not, not ruffling any political feathers, but I'm strictly saying this from a sports perspective and what might be good for the sport. So a while ago when the Women's World Cup was on, I said for women's cricket, India needs to win the World Cup.
Yeah, and I agree.
Because they have the financial push. And if the BCCI can back women's cricket, it will grow. And we've seen that. The WPL this year was the most watched in any season so far. And you can see there's growth. You can see there's money being put into it.
Agreed.
On the flip side, for cricket to grow and for cricket to stay relevant globally, I don't think India should win. Men's cricket. And the reason why I say that, not women's cricket, not
Okay,
women's
okay.
cricket. Women's cricket, we needed India to win. We needed that push
Yeah,
from the BCCI.
yeah, yeah,
But for men's cricket, it might be better for India to not win. Just because then you have the balance globally that another team, despite having not as much money and not as many resources,
yeah,
can still come and win the title.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Again, not saying it from a political standpoint, just saying it from
Cricketing point of view.
cricketing point of view.
Yeah,
Cricketing point of view.
I agree with that. But I see Jamaica, they've been out of the Caribbean Premier League for like 6 years now, and they're going to be back. But they're
They're
being,
back.
and I'm excited about that. But they're going to be owned by a Pakistan person. He has, and it started already. It's like, okay, will he pick Indian players on the team? But that shouldn't be what the sport should be about, right? I mean, I'm excited to see that Jamaica is going to be back in the CPL, but then now there's all this talk about, is it going to be political, because like 3/4 of that whole CPL is owned by Indian owners. How is this going to impact that?
And
And it's like, why are we even talking about this? It should be
and
cricket.
this is yeah, but this is why I say it will be good for another team to win the World Cup. I just feel like that balance now is starting to sway really heavily on one side.
Yep,
Um, because and it's not necessarily the BCCI, but it is Indian owners who own a lot of these teams.
they
So,
do.
you will automatically assume that the BCCI is involved in it, which isn't always the case because these are individual
Individual.
owners who own
Yeah,
these teams around the world. But in the optics of things, they will be connected as two things.
correct, correct. I don't know. It's not so great for the sport, but I mean, it is what it is, as they say, until it can get better. And you're right. Maybe them not winning the T20 World Cup would probably be better for the sport. But I just want the best team to win, and I think it's going to be the West Indies. But that's a whole other conversation another time. Um,
You just
but
have to slip that in there.
I know. When I was watching a little women's cricket, back to women's cricket for a second, and
Yeah.
Sri Lanka is in the West Indies playing some ODIs and
Yeah.
T20s. And I mean, Sri Lanka won the first game. It was a fairly competitive game. Sri Lanka made 240. West Indies replied with 230. Stephanie Taylor, who is playing forever, she made 66 and was the backbone of the West Indies. But my concern was all the highlights that I've seen, there was nobody in the stadium, and I'm confused by that. Is what is going on? And I know you're over there, and you're probably seeing bigger crowds, and I'm hoping you are, because there was actually no one at the cricket ground in this West Indies versus Sri Lanka, and to me, it's like, what is going on here?
So I don't know how much this series would have been marketed in the West Indies. I know when I did the Super 50 last year, we were in St. Kitts and we spoke to some of the locals and they had absolutely no idea that the tournament was happening.
Okay.
Mind you, that was the regional tournament, so I don't know how much more promotion there is happening for this tournament. It's a tough time. You're competing with the men's T20 World Cup. You are competing with India women playing Australia women. This tournament right here, the Asia Cup Rising Stars, we had a small crowd during the India-Pakistan game because it's India-Pakistan, and
Yeah.
every time India's played, there's been a small crowd because they do, the people who follow it come in and want autographs and pictures and whatnot from the players. Sri Lanka, I don't want to say Sri Lanka West Indies is not an important series. But I think it comes down to the marketability of it,
Yeah.
and you are competing with a World Cup at the moment, and that's a tough one.
It is. It is. I just feel that outside of India and maybe Australia, as you say, maybe to some extent England, the women's cricket is just not growing the way it should, I think.
So you know, this might not be a favorite opinion, especially with some women, but I understand that women want what the men have.
Yep.
And I can understand, like, I've played through it. I know what it's like. And I know what it's like to have the challenges that we do and the budget cuts and the limitations. It's a struggle. However, even with men's sport, it was not always marketable. It became marketable because they started to think of it as a product that they can push in the market. And so when you're looking at the Australia India women's game and you see crowds there, well, there's a reason why there are crowds there. Those two teams are playing some pretty good cricket to make
Yeah.
it marketable. When we look at women's tennis, it's marketable because of that competitive standard. So if some of these teams want to see crowds and if they want to see the same sort of um, funding, same sort of impact, the same sort of resources, the women need to understand that they will have to up their game. And I'm sorry, I don't mean that as a disrespect to the women and by
Understood.
any way, but I'm just saying you've got to be able to show people why they need to come and follow you, why they need to come and watch you instead of watching something else.
I agreed, and I mean I have a little different point of view on it. Is that women's sports is on the rise? You talk
It
about
is.
women's basketball. I
Yep.
mean, nothing they're riding off the men, but it has grown phenomenally.
Yep.
Women's soccer, they even have a new soccer league, and teams are coming to Canada for basketball. You have North American soccer for women. Sports are growing. Tennis, and all these women's sports are growing. For the Olympics, they want to highlight the women's 100 meters on the first day because they think it's one of the most important events. The women.
Yep.
So the women's sports is going like that, but I don't see it in cricket. And I'm not sure. I know in the other
But that's
sports, leadership was there and quality is there, but I'm not sure why cricket can't begin to feed off this that is happening around them.
But that's exactly why. It's the quality, like you just said. You look at the women's 100-meter dash, and there's strength, there's fitness, there's speed. That's
Yeah,
marketable.
it
You know,
is.
you look at basketball, they've improved over the years. You look at soccer, oh my God, I mean, women's soccer has improved exponentially over
There
the
you
last
go.
few years. So in cricket, certain countries have, and when those countries play, we're able to see the traction off of it. And that's why I was saying, like, the India Australia game has that traction. The West Indies, whether it's men or women, they've struggled. The women have especially struggled for the West Indies. So there isn't, to me, it's not a surprise that they're struggling to draw crowds in. I mean, the West Indies men even are struggling to bring in
And
crowds in the West Indies these days.
because they're no good, or they were no good, but they're getting no.
But
But
they're
my
gonna win
thing,
the World Cup.
and they are, because nobody repeats as winner for the World Cup, and it's time for the West Indies again. But I think in my opinion, I think the sport itself needs to help the sport to grow. And I think maybe they're just at the starting point where a couple countries are doing what is required for their country to grow. But I don't think they're spending enough to ensure that the entire sport lifts itself as it
But
probably
you know what? From a logistic perspective, that is impossible for the ICC to do. The ICC can help fund it, but
can.
for
Yep.
them to have the resources to go and actually tell each and every member on how to run and grow the sport would take an infinite amount of staff and resources. My concern is you've given these countries this funding. There's got to be one way or another to hold them accountable to it.
There you
The
go. And have
problem
the
is
quality. It's about the quality now. You're giving them the funds, raise their quality, and this is how you're going to do it. So I think the ICC can provide the guidelines to grow the
they
quality
do.
in these countries.
But they do. The ICC has provided the guidelines, they provided grassroots programs, they provided all kinds of options to market the sport and to grow it. Where it falls apart is the members, because the members do not spend that money, do not spend the time needed to grow the game for the women. A lot of times that funding goes into junior cricket, it goes into men's cricket, it goes into other operations instead of actually going towards growing the game for the women. And I'm going to take the PCCI's example again. When they won the under 19 Women's World Cup, you started to see that shift in momentum. They put in
Yeah.
more money into it. They won a World Cup just now. And that doesn't just happen. It's happened because the investment's been put into it financially and with resources. I can tell you when I'm watching, and this is India A. I mean, they're calling it India A, but I think India A could. There are a lot of players who should be in India. They're not. These are a lot of young ones coming up to the
Coming up.
system. So that shows the depth that they have. But when you watch these girls play, it is actually very entertaining to watch because you watch their ability to bat, to score runs, the power that they have, the way they are in the field, they're live wires in the field. And
Yeah.
that is something you want to see,
100%. We just got to figure out how to get it to the members. You're right. I think it's part of the ICC's problem because they are in charge of cricket, in my opinion. But yeah, the members are not doing their part, and it's a very disappointing thing because I just see other sports going and going and going, and cricket is just sort of stuck in first gear for a little while. And you see a spotter here from India and Australia, whatever, but there's nothing concerted effort to say let's raise the quality across the board. It's going to take time, I guess, and money and commitment, which may be hard to find these days.
And good administration. I think a lot of countries are falling apart because they don't have good administration.
You have a lot of individuals who see more of themselves. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
That's like we're gonna need another hour for that one.
For that one. All right, I think we're out of time. But as always, lots of good cricket going on. So now that we're in the final eight, you still have South Africa, or you're changing your mind now?
I can't. I've got to back them.
Okay.
Let's go South Africa.
West Indies. Let's see. Let's see how it goes.
If it comes down to those two, I'm going to say South Africa for sure.
And I'm going to say West Indies for sure. So
we're going
to be battling. But great talking as always. It was a fun show. And see you next week when we have some of these results to chew on and more to talk about.
Absolutely.
So, awesome. Thanks, Monali. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.